of the Integrity Club program at Baylor University. And we also have the Open Expenditure Initiative, where we work with county leadership to ensure that there's transparency around the utilization of the county social development fund. There's a budget portal that has information around, the funds that have been allocated to various counties, how they spend, visibility around those projects. All of those things are in the budget portal, and we have regular forums in those counties that conglomerates citizens, including youth, women, the disabled, everyone, to decide what is it or what should be done or how the funds have been expanded. We also have the National Integrity Forum. National Integrity Forum is collaboration of CENTAL and government anti-corruption institutions or integrity institutions. So whether it is the General Auditing Commission, the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the Public Procurement Concession Commission, you just think about those integrity institutions of government. All of those institutions are part of the National Integrity Forum. And the primary objective of that forum is to ensure that there is transparency around government service delivery. There are lots of handiworks of that forum. Now you go at the Ministry of Internal Affairs, there's a billboard that has all of the fees that are required to be paid for services there. That billboard was erected on the auspices of the National Integrity Forum to ensure that there's visibility around those services. The same is to the Liberia Business Registry and the Ministry of Transport. So all of those activities are intended to ensure that there's transparency around the service that government provides, and also to reduce the likelihood of, corruption or somebody extorting. So CENTAL believes that when you have access to information, if you have the information, you have power to demand accountability. You have the likelihood will be reduced for you to be extorted or cheated. All right. So if I know that I'm supposed to pay, say, $50 for a license plate, somebody comes to you and say pay $100, you have the information, you know what is it you're supposed to pay. Then you are armed enough to say, no, I'm not supposed to pay this, I'm supposed to pay that, because that's what is on the billboard. So that one way CENTAL believes that we can curb corruption, especially in our government, as it relates to service delivery. We have a series of campaign activities. We have county field officers that are in various counties, in fact, 7 counties that are regularly conducting outreach engagements, meeting with stakeholders, meeting with community people, talking about finding ways to end corruption, encouraging them to report, making available the various platforms that we have, including the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center that allows citizens to report corruption by dialing 4432, which is a short code, which is also toll-free. And those county field officers, through their engagements, they go out and encourage people to utilize those platforms. And by the way, the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center has this, aside from this 4432 hotline, has other ways to reach out. For example, you could reach out through text message to 0555-722-113, which is also used via WhatsApp. And you can also email ELAC at centar.org.lr. Or you can visit the Facebook pages, CENTAL ELAC, is CENTAL, CENTAL ALAC. That's CENTAL ELAC on Facebook, and you make use of the messenger component of the Facebook and send a message, and ELAC will receive that message. Otherwise, you could visit, CENTAL has a very vibrant social media platform. You can visit CENTAL Facebook page. You just type Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, and you follow our page. All of the activities of CENTAL are posted on that page, and you get regular updates on our Facebook platform. Also, we have our website is www.centar.org.lr. It's centar.org.lr. Or you could visit the budget portal, which is www.liberianbudget.info. www.liberianbudget.info. We'll take a short break, and we'll return. We'll talk to our guests who are from the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, working on a project called the Anti-Corruption Innovative Initiative that is supported by UNDP and CEDAW. That is called Anti-Corruption Innovative Initiative. It's a program that is supported by the UNDP and the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency. And as you know, corruption continues to reveal itself in various forms. As you design strategies to fight corruption, those that are in the practice of corruption will always find sophisticated ways to, sort of engage into corruption. And so one of the ways you can fight corruption that is always designing different strategies, you have to employ innovative approaches, one of which is using technology. Because technology reaches where we don't reach, and technology goes where we do not go. So that is how come UNDP, with funding from CEDAW, developed this platform we call Talkie, which is an innovative approach to report acts of corruption. And today, our team at CENTAL will be talking about some of the work they've been doing on that program, some of the activities they've embarked upon, and some of the impact of those activities, and what has been the results so far, and what are some of their plans going forward. Today we have Siafa Eskamara. He's a program officer at CENTAL. Welcome, Siafa.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being in the studio this morning to talk about the work that we do at CENTAL. And I hope that our listeners can follow and also make their comment and also participate as we go on with this discussion. Thank you.
And we have Geraldine Wonder. She's the coordinator for the Integrity Clubs program, or CENTAL's youth engagement activity. Welcome, Geraldine.
Thank you, Mr. Blambo, and thanks to the peace-loving citizens of this country. As we are brought to talk about the issues that concern the development of our country, we pray that all of us pay attention and take it very seriously, because if Liberia will develop, it depends on each and every one of us. So please give us your listening ears. Thank you so much.
And then we have Antonia Law Bendu Poto. She's the lead on this project. She's the legal officer at CENTAL and leading this initiative. Welcome.
Good morning, Blamo, and good morning to our listeners in Radio Land. We welcome you to sit back and listen to what we have to share with you, and also make a contribution in the fight against corruption. The fight against corruption is not just CENTAL's business, it is all of us business.
Yeah, so, okay, let's begin with you. Since you're the leader on this project, What is this innovative project all about? Can you give us a little history about this project?
Okay, the Anti-Corruption Innovation Project is an initiative that UNDP is undertaking in countries that are prone to corruption or where corruption has undermined development in the delivery of basic social services like India, Rwanda, Ghana, Nigeria. And the innovation, when we say innovation, it's just about the use of technology in the fight against corruption. But in other countries, they are using it in the health sector. Apparently, the health sector is more prone to corruption. Like in Nigeria, it's used in the procurement sector. Maybe procurement there is more prone to corruption. I cannot say, but because they decided to use it in a specific area to fight corruption. But here in Liberia, we have an institution that has the mandate to fight corruption both in the private and public sector, which is the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. So UNDP is partnering with the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission and 3 other civil society organizations, CENTAL for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, CENTAL for short, where we are from, Integrity Watch Liberia and Accountability Watch Liberia, to implement this project. And it's also a way of bringing the government and civil society together to join the fight against corruption in Liberia. So it's more of a collaborative effort. And we at CENTAL, we are creating awareness on the use of the Talkie app. That is the innovation we are talking about. So the Talkie app is a mobile app and it's also a web-based that is used to report corruption, and it's being managed by the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission because they have the mandate to investigate corruption, and now with the new LDCC to prosecute corruption. So the dashboard is there where when citizens report corruption using the Talkie app or the Talkie website, they will receive it and then proceed with investigation. So somebody may want to know this Talkie app, okay, what it is about. It's just like the Facebook app or the WhatsApp that we use to communicate, but it is built differently and very unique, very easy to use. It can be found on Google Play Store and also Apple Store. For Apple user and Android users, just go on the Google Play Store or the App Store and have it downloaded. It's installed automatically, very easy to use. You don't have to register like you do with Facebook. All you do is to just click on the app. When it opens, it will take you to where they have, do you want to report corruption? If you say yes, then you will go through the steps that are very easy. They will ask you for the kind of corruption you want to report. That will come with a drop-down list of corruption because not all crimes are corruption, right?
Yeah.
So on a platform, you will see the drop-down list of corruption crimes, like bribery, extortion, manipulation, abuse of public office, conflict of interest. So you can select whatever you want to report. And if what you want to report is not listed there, you have what is order, the field that is order. You can just type in what you have to report, and then your county that you're reporting from, the county in which the corruption is taking place, the city. They will also ask you for your gender. If you want to abstain, you don't have to log your gender in. And also, they will ask you whether you have disabilities. It's just to track the different sectors that are reporting whether able people or persons with disabilities are being affected by corruption. They will also ask you whether you want to reveal their identity. That is not compulsory. If you don't want to, all you need to do, if you have supporting documents that will give the LDCC a lead to investigate the matter, you can upload the documents there. If you do not have documents, no need, whether pictures, audio, or videos. If it is not there, you don't have to bother yourself.
Okay.
And if you send the complaint, if you click on send, you will receive a unique tracking code. And this code will be used to track the progress of that report that you have sent to the LDCC. Now, how do you use this tracking code? You will go to www.talkie.org, which is the website. And when you get on the website, you will also see, do you want to report corruption? Okay. So if you do not want to download the app, you can also report corruption using www.talkie.org. But if you went there to track the status of that complaint, You can just click on track report, and it will take you to the page where you will enter that unique code that was generated by the system. It's not generated by any individual. It is automated, and you will see the progress of the report. The same page that you fill out will open to you and see whether the LACC has taken action. But if you just want to use the www.talkie.org platform for research as a journalist, maybe a student, maybe an ordinary Liberian citizen or donor or civil society who wants to know the state of corruption in Liberia, you can also go to the menu and just click on analytics, and it will take you to the statistics of corruption crimes that have been reported. So you will see the number of cases that are reported per county. You will see corruption cases reported per category. You will also know the age range of persons reporting, whether the youth are reporting more, whether elderly people are reporting, whether men and women are reporting, or people are abstaining from revealing their sex. All of those information are also on the platform to help researchers and people who just want to know the state of corruption.
Thank you very much. Safa, you've been going out in the counties, creating awareness, you've been part of the team. Where exactly have you been so far, and what are some of the reviews you've gotten in terms of what are people saying? What do they think about the application? Do they think it's helpful, or do you think it's a waste of time? Or I mean, what are some of the reviews you've got so far?
Yeah, so like Madam Koto has already started to say that we are using innovation to fight corruption, not to only fight but to prevent and also encourage people to live the life of integrity. So under this project, we have been into Grand Baza, we have visited Pombe County, we have been in Monrovia, street corners, Johnson Street, we have been in Nima County, we have been in Bon County, engaging with ordinary people. If I say ordinary, it means communities. We have engaged with police, we have engaged with superintendent, commissioners, and people see this project to really be a good thing, because for the first time, some of them have understand that there is a platform available to them now to report corruption. So that is something people were really happy about, more especially in Grand Bass or in Bon County. So they were like, wow, so now I have the opportunity to report corruption. So in Bombi County, we're also in Bombi distributing our flyers with taxi drivers, with motorcyclists, with marketeers, and they were also excited. In fact, there was one case in point where somebody said they were sacked, they were dismissed, in fact, without even knowing which course of action to take. But with this platform available to them, they are now going to make use of it to report corruption. Even in school, there were some issues that brought us on harassment, and a female reported that matter to us, and we're able to look into that issue. So there's a lot more to be done in this country, because there is not only about this platform that we are revealing to the people, but citizens themselves has to take initiative. They need to commit themselves to taking action against corruption. We cannot be preaching the issue of integrity, promoting transparency at the community level, among stakeholders, and we still see our people getting involved within the act of corruption. So that alone tries to undermine our efforts. So we want to encourage them to take action against corruption. And how are you going to take these actions? One, we told them that, look, if you see anything that resembles corruption, call 4432 and report, or download our Talkie mobile app to report. And once that is done, it helps us, to prevent corruption. And then if these issues are reported, LACC now we have the mandate to investigate all of those issues. But again, we, like you said, people are really excited about these activities and initiative, because it is an instrument that is going to help, promote integrity, even at the community level, in churches, all right, at the various police stations. So doing one of our engagement, we're like telling people that, look, Do you know that when you go to a police station, you don't supposed to pay $5? In fact, those depots are not area to generate revenue for government. People were saying that no, there is not real information. So we're like telling them, yeah, there is a serious information that we are giving you. People were like saying that whenever they go to the police station, I mean, we tell them to pay $500 to register or buy gasoline for my motor bag before I arrest the situation. I mean, these are all issues that people, don't know. So that's why CENTAL and her partners are involved with awareness raising, because we are not only talking about corruption, because there are other laws that people don't know about. Take, for example, the domestic violence law that was passed. Take, for example, the Freedom of Information Act. Most of our people don't know about these laws. So what are we doing under this initiative? We're also helping our ordinary people to get a deeper understanding about these laws, because it is going to help. Because somebody said information is power. So once you get information at the tip of your finger, you'll be able to make decisions. But if you cannot understand the current day reality, that's why you notice that you even go to public institutions to access certain facility. People will tell you that, look, you got to pay $20, you got to pay $10, because you don't know the procedures or the protocols to getting that particular service. So that is why people are using all of those means now to take money from people. But we are informing them about the ways and how to report if they see anything, that resemble corruption in any public institution.
Yes, Geraldine, he talked about, meeting stakeholders, meeting police, meeting other top level people. But you're heading the youth engagement program at CENTAL. Have you, through your outreach, have you been able to reach out to young people, women who bore the brunt of this whole corruption issue?
Okay. Once again, my name is Geraldine Wande. One of these innovation initiative, we engage with diverse groups from all rounds of life. So that is the students, our parents, the media, and stakeholders, as my colleagues say, right? Knowing the cardinal role young people play in our country and how we are affected, we reach out to them, telling them that it's good as a young person to do the right thing at the right time. Even when people watching you or not, you have to do the right thing. And that is called integrity. Integrity is key in everything we do, because our leaders today, they were young people who they taught integrity in everything. So if you have integrity and that moral, you grow up with it, you can make a change. And knowing that because of corruption, our country is underdeveloped, those challenges we see, even if you visit the school, you see the challenges in the classrooms. The student will say, oh yes, our teachers are not on payroll, our teachers are unpaid. And Nelson Mandela said in his quote that education is the most important weapon you can use to change the world. So if we are saying that we want to change, we want to make a change, we have to try by all means to fight corruption, because you can make a change with corruption in your country. Corruption will undermine the change that you even want to see. So we believe that if we spread the message of change, we should start to hold our leaders accountable. They should come to us for those things that we entrusted them with, because corruption will explain itself as the misuse of entrusted power for profit gain. So if we entrust you with something, you are to account to us and do the right thing if we place you there. So those are messages we share with the people.
Thank you.
So just to chip in a little bit, she talked about challenges. So when we visited a school in Nema County, that is Negben Public School to be specific, you notice that the students are seated in the classes that don't even have armchairs. So these are some of the issues. And all of these things happening as a result of corruption. Who takes the blame? No one is willing now to take the blame. That's why we as CENTAL, we are concerned about budget, that you were making reference to the budget portal. So you notice that bulk of the money goes in people's pocket, most especially when allocations are made. Huge of the budget goes to the legislature. Another portion of it goes to the executive. And the resources that go to the executive, just many portions go to education. So that is how our people are challenged. So how teachers are going to take salaries if lawmakers are giving scholarship in almost all of the districts because they want to get re-elected? How will integrity institution perform their mandate or their given responsibility if huge portion of the money is going to the lawmakers? So that's why those people seeking re-election go in community to say, okay, I will give you 500 scholarship, and then the money that's supposed to go to education now go to them because why? They want to get re-elected or they want to maintain their positions in public places, and that is undermining our academic system in this country. So if we should graduate and compete with others countries in terms of education, there's a need that we come together to minimize corruption. In fact, public officials should not be making allocation to themselves, but this allocation should benefit the ordinary people who are residing in our communities.
Thank you very much. Manapoto, you've been out reaching out to people, especially in remote places. Are you thinking about the fact that some of those people may not have access to technology? They may not have, sophistication, the phones, and the downloading ability and everything. What other plans you have, or whatever other activities you have in terms of alternatives for them, for some of those who don't have access to those technologies?
Okay, as the name of the program is Anti-Corruption Innovation Initiative. So the initiative this innovation is all about the best way that every citizen can participate in the fight against corruption, right? So we have taken into consideration that not every Liberian is literate, and not all part of the country citizens have access to internet connectivity, and not every Liberian is capable of accessing the internet or even using the web-based. So we also have a text line that is used for someone who is literate but does not have access to the level of sophistication that is having smartphones, tablets, or computers. So all they need to do is to send a text message using their button phone. All you need to do is to have a SIM card in that phone, and your phone is charged, and then you send a text message to 4419, and the text message will be automatically uploaded to the Talkie platform. Okay. So the text message can be sent to 4419 free of charge on any network. You don't have to recharge your phone. And also, if you have witnessed corruption or you have been a victim of corruption and you are not literate enough to access the web base, that is the www.talkie.org, or to even have access to a smartphone where you will download the Talkie app, the mobile app on your phone, you can also call 4432 to report corruption. And someone may say, reporting corruption using my cell phone, what is the safety? The safety there is that you don't have to reveal your identity when you call. You are not obligated to anyone to call your name. All you need to do is to call and give a lead on what is happening. The LSCC investigators are trained to conduct the investigation. And the good thing here now is that the new LSCC Act, let's say the creation of the new LSCC gave LSCC a prosecutorial power that we all have been advocating for in the civil society space and even the LSCC itself. So now LSCC is not just limited to conduct the investigation. After investigation, LSCC will proceed to investigation. So there will be no more excuse that since we forwarded the matter to the Ministry of Justice, they have not acted upon it. Now the board is in their own court to proceed with investigation, while we are also continuing to advocate for the establishment of a specialized court to prosecute corruption. And another gain again that we have in the fight against corruption is the enactment of the witness protection law and the whistleblower law. We now have a witness protection law. It's just that it has not been institutionalized, where we have a formal program that is set up for persons who will be employed to manage the witness protection program. And we have a whistleblower law also now that protects witnesses and victims of corruption. And it's not because we have these laws, people will report corruption and expose themselves. You do not have to tell people that you are the one who gave the lead or reported the corruption. To tell you how risky it is, that's why the witness protection law has component of it that has to do with temporarily relocating witnesses of corruption and changing their identity for a period of time. And there are a lot of other things in it, because people who commit corruption are very powerful in a sense that they don't operate in abstract. They are always operating with a syndicate. There are groups somewhere that give the information. There are people somewhere who not only leak the information but also give them protection. So because they are powerful, they don't operate on their own. You are to help the government as they are helping to protect your identity, protect yourself also, but not revealing your identity will report corruption. The reason I'm making emphasis on this, we had a situation at CENTAL where someone reported act of corruption at the level of the community. And when we called to make further option, it was at the level of community, something that has to do with community issue. When we called, and the person we called said, yes, I already know who called, who carried my complaint there. And the person have said that you people will come and catch me and carry me to LCD. So I'm waiting. So corruption investigation does not just happen like that. And only at the end of the day to find out that that person was not actually telling the truth, because sometimes people lie. And because that is also a known fact that sometimes people lie just to get at people or tarnish their reputation. The LCC will not just go and start arresting people. They have to do background check. And if they need be, they will invite the accused with their lawyer to come for questioning before they launch a full-scale investigation into the matter.
Right. So you're listening to the program Integrity Watch. This is your hour-long program that is produced by the communication section of the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. And we have as guests Anthony Bindu Poto. She's the lead on the Anti-Corruption Innovative Initiative at CENTAL. And we also have Siafa S. Kamara and Geraldine T. Wande. They're providing support for this initiative that is supported by CEDA through the United Nations Development Program. We are now ready to take your calls. If you have your concerns, you can put them through to 0779 0779 000-691, 0779 000-691. If you have a concern, you can put it to them. If you have questions, you want to understand how the app can be utilized or how to download or what is the color of the app, how to identify it, and how to, browse through and report corruption, you can ask all of those questions. They provide information, but if you need clarity, you can ask and they will provide those clarity. Call down 0779 000-691. Siafa, you talking about reporting corruption, you out in the field, encouraging people, engaging with stakeholders. Someone sitting somewhere may think and say, but if I report corruption, if I make use of the app, download the app, report corruption, and so what? What next? What happens? Where does it go? What happens next? How is the investigation process? It's like, what happens? Am I assured that there will be actions taken?
Well, yeah, thank you. So that's a good question, and I think any other person may want to know, more especially if you are involved in something, you need an answer and you need an action. So the first thing we want to assure the people here that is that LACC now have that direct prosecutorial power, and it is not about the issue of the who, where, LACC was only responsible to investigate corruption cases. After investigation, matters are forwarded to Ministry of Justice for prosecutions. But today, we can assure them that if you report, there will be an action taken, especially so if it is a co-corruption related matters. Because we don't want people to just call or to just send in your information that maybe on theft. Take for example, somebody went to your house, burglarized your door, take maybe your television, and then you say, oh, there is corruption. Let me report this matter to LACC. If you report such matter to LACC, you might not see any action being taken. So for each time you click, like Madam Boto said, or track information, you may notice that no action will be taken on that kind of matter. So we advise people in that kind of way. If you call CENTAL, what we do is to provide your legal advice. All right, we'll tell you that, look, go to the nearby police station, register your case, and then police will investigate that matter because that's a criminal matter. All right, but with co-corruption issues, once you report, though investigation takes time, but we can assure our people that there will be action taken. So even right now, if you look on the platform, on the Turkey platform, there are other actions that have been taken in cases that were reported. All right, people have reported in Monrovia, in Bonn, and so forth. So there has been action taken on most of the cases. All right. So we want them to report. And once you report, trust me, that alone is going to serve as deterrent. Because somebody somewhere will say to themselves that, look, if I get myself involved in corruption, there's someone watching that may report this matter to CENTAL or LACC. And once that reach to CENTAL or LACC, action might be taken against me. So you see, this is how we this is how we're doing this entire fight against corruption. And the next thing, somebody will say, what benefit will I get if I report corruption? So take, for example, you send your child to school or public school and there's no armchair. That is something you don't want to see. But if you report corruption and money that has been embezzled or money that was intended for education that has been embezzled, and if for any reason LACC retrieve that money and the money is now given back to the government and such money is now sent to Ministry of Education to purchase armchair, there will be a complete change. When we get more money being allocated in the health sector and people manage those money properly, and then with the sense that if they involve themselves into corruption, there will be someone reporting, and that's serving as deterrent, and people at the Ministry of Health or Education begin to do the right thing, everyone is going to benefit. So the fight against corruption for whistleblowers, we always encourage our people to not seek personal benefit, because there has been this question that were asked in one of our engagements that, look, if I report corruption, will I get $50 or will I get $100 as my benefit? Tell them, no, you are not going to get any $5 from us. But on the national level, everyone is going to benefit as a result of this one matter you have reported. Take, for example, somebody, we had a case that involved one NGO in this country that ate donor money. So today, the beneficiary of that funding, I mean, they never got any substantive benefit from that identical funding. But through our advocacy, and that matter was forwarded to Ministry to LACC. And today, LACC has conducted all of the investigation, and funding has been forwarded to Ministry of Justice for prosecution. So if LACC having to win that identical issue, and then that institution will not begin to receive donor funding. So most of the people that are accessing services at that institution are also going to benefit. So that is why we are saying the fight against corruption is not only about CENTAL. Today we are here raising awareness, but what will happen tomorrow? Left with the citizens that are listening to this message. So that's why we're telling them, demand accountability from your leaders, whether at the community level or at the national level. These approaches are usually result in other countries like Sierra Leone. People are using these approaches. Like Rwanda, my colleague talks about. People are using these approaches in Nigeria, Ghana, around here, even Africa. In terms of development, you cannot compare our country, Liberia, to Ghana. Those people are making mad when it comes to the fight against corruption. You see, police officer in Ghana is living with integrity as compared to policemen in Liberia.
Let's take this call on. We'll come back to you. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Let's hear you.
Yeah, my name is Timothy Joseph, calling from the street.
Yes, let's hear you.
Yeah, okay. Let me comment your studio best for the level of awareness they raising on corruption. But then, I have a question for them. I heard them saying that you go to the police station, you have a case, you go to the station. You are not to pay down or sent to a police station. Until you then have the case, you go to a police station. But then, the police complain that you don't have fuel in the car. No, you have to register your case to put fuel in the car so we can run after your case. And second, you need to pay some money to buy the stationary sheet or to put gasoline in the generator for us to function. The police therefore asked me such a requirement to pay to them. What would I do next? If I have to pay the money to them?
Okay, thank you very much. I think one of you will take that.
All right, so thank you so much. So the issue that he raised, I think these are issues that have been coming up. If somebody say in one of our meetings that look, maybe somebody slapped me and I need that situation to be arrested by police, and police is not asking me to pay A, B, and C because I want justice. So the bottleneck of the entire conversation here is that no one supposed to pay any dime at the police station. All right, even the police officers know about that. So if such a thing happens, we encourage you to report. All right, you report by calling 4432, or you reach out, or there are other departments at police headquarters that you can forward that matter to. But I think the legal officer can weigh in on the issue.
Okay, so the question there is kind of hypothetical, so it's not something that has already happened or the court has witnessed. We're in one of the counties and we're having community engagements, and fortunately for us, we had a police officer in our meeting and an ex-police officer in the meeting. When the same issue came out, the same hypothetical question was raised. I think it was either in Grand Bassa or Bomi County. I can't just remember exactly. And the police officer said it's because we don't have logistics, there is no stationary, and what we request for is that if we have to go to a long distance, you just pay the transportation for the motorbikes. We are not taking money that will go into our pockets.
Okay.
And it almost became a debate between the former officer and the current officer, where the former officer said that those days we used to work hours to go and enforce an arrest. So why you can't do the same now that there is no logistics? So it was more of the police officer just saying, you facilitate my going there. It's now a bribe coming in my pocket. You buy the sheet. It's now a bribe coming in my pocket.
Doesn't that influence his investigation or whatever?
Well, I cannot speak for him because I'm not him. So he was talking about more of facilitating the process to fast track the arrest if a situation like that arises, but it's not taking bribe into my pocket. Because if you pay for registration, which of course the registration and the police is supposed to be free, then that become a corruption. So that was almost like a dialogue that, along with the participant in the community, we sat down and listened. And one thing I would say is that there is no justification for corruption.
Of course.
And it is the same cause of corruption that our police do not have logistics. When Omia was here, things were much better because they were giving support to the police, and now they are not here. So the question is, what next as Liberians? What can we do to provide the necessary logistics for our securities to perform their duties without asking ordinary citizens who have already become victims of situations to pay money? Because here am I, somebody broke into my home, maybe they raped my child, they stole everything I have, then I have to go through the hardship now to pay transportation for the police officer to go after the perpetrator or to buy shit for the investigation process. So it is corruption that led us to this situation. That is why we are here working along with the LACC with support for UNDP. UNDP is the donor and a long-time traditional partner to Liberia when it comes to development, that are saying that we should report corruption when we witness this, because we are sitting in the offices. We are even facilitating some of these corruption activities that are going on because we are getting little things from there. So if we fight corruption together, our police will have better salaries and they will have the necessary logistics to fight crimes.
Okay, thank you very much. And before I go back to you to take your final comments as we about to wrap up, I'd just like to state that maybe some of us don't have the information, and maybe we need to have those information as citizens to help us better understand issues. For example, it's the government's responsibility to provide security and protection for the citizens. It is not a citizen's responsibility to facilitate transportation of a police officer. The government is supposed to do that because the government is the one that citizens pay their taxes to. So it's kind of baffling to hear policemen trying to justify somebody transport, that's a form of corruption. Is solicitation of funds from ordinary citizens. It's not the main responsibility to pay your way.
Sure.
It's the government's responsibility.
Sure.
And so that's just, I just try to show that through so that, we understand that and we have that information so that we can be empowered, and so that a policeman cannot come to you and say, okay, you got to pay my way. I didn't say register the case, but I said pay my way and blah, blah, blah. So that's a corruption trying to be turned around in another form to make it look legal and makes it look, that acceptable. And that's not what we want.
People say technical water,
You asked a question previously on investigation process, right? When it comes to corruption, and you wanted to know how ordinary citizens will know that investigation is going. So here we are more concerned about safety issues, especially for whistleblowers, witnesses, and victims of corruption. And by reporting corruption does not mean you should be in the center of the investigation. What you have done is that you are giving a lead to the investigators. And crimes are committed against the state, right? So once that is reported to the LSC as a lead that you have given, with the statutory mandate that they have to investigate corruption, they can move in and conduct the investigation. And usually when it's just now that the new act says that LSC cannot speak about the matter until an indictment is drawn and the matter is put to court.
You can wrap up in 30 seconds before we run out of time.
So previously, LSC will conduct the investigation and have press conference. That won't be happening. And once the investigation is conducted, they have indictment to proceed to court. That information becomes public information because even ordinary citizens can make use of the courtroom just to witness trial while it's ongoing, and then they'll also start to talk about the issue that is before the court for prosecution. So definitely people will get to know that action has been taken, and someone may be convicted or someone may be set free for lack of sufficient evidence. And not all matters the LSC will just proceed with, especially when there is no sufficient evidence to proceed with prosecution. Because doing so will be waste of taxpayer money.
Thank you very much. Shall I have a final word?
Yeah, so thank you. We want to encourage our people to make use of all of these available platforms that report corruption, live with integrity. Of course, integrity should be the hallmark of the thing in transforming our country. Thank you so much for having us here.
Geraldine?
Thank you so much, and thanks to the management of ECOWAS Radio. Corruption is a serious issue. Let us all join to make our country better. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And sadly, that's all the time we have on this edition of the program Integrity Watch. I've had here as our guest, Siafa S. Kamara and Geraldine, one day providing support to the Anti-Corruption Innovative Initiative. And we've had the program lead of that initiative at CENTAL, which is Antonia Law Daily Photo. He's also the legal officer at CENTAL. We'll be back here next Thursday at about this time to bring you another edition of the show. Until then, my name is Edward Blamo. I'm the Media and Communications Officer at CENTAL, and I've been here ably assisted ably assisted by Magdalene Bondao, who is the Media and Communication Assistant at CENTAL. And I want to say goodbye to our listeners and our viewers on Facebook. Thank you very much. God bless you. Next Thursday.